Dear students of class 6, I'm sure all of you have your own hobbies, right? How many of you know how to fly a kite? Yes, seeing your excitement, I can say that flying kites must have been an amazing and wonderful experience. I also used to fly kites when I was a child like you. Believe that? Yes, I did. Well, today we are going to read the poem The Kite by Harry Behn, which is the second poem you'll find in your English textbook, Honeysuckle. The poem is written by Harry Behn. And before we start reading the poem, let's know a bit about the poet. Harry Behn was an American poet, screenwriter, and children's author. You know what a screenwriter does? A screenwriter writes what should be there on each scene of a movie or a play. He writes down about how each scene in a film or a drama would be shown. So, he's an American poet, screenwriter, and children's author. Harry Behn was born on September 24, 1898, and he died on September 6, 1973. So please get ready to read and enjoy The Kite by Harry Behn. I want all of you to look into your book, listen carefully while I read, and enjoy the poem. So, The Kite by Harry Behn. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail, then soars like a ship with only a sail. As over tides of wind it rides, climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows and its wings fill and up it goes. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new, but a raggeder thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. So, class 6, I hope you enjoyed the poem as much as I enjoyed reading it out to you. So, the first activity we are going to do after reading the poem is to identify rhyming words. Let's take the first 6 lines of the poem. I want you to go to the last word in each line and find out words that rhyme, pairs of words that rhyme. All of you know what a rhyming word is? Words having the same sound. So identify the last words in each line and let's form pairs of rhyming words. The first pair that we have here is blue and new. The next pair, dip and ship. The next one, tail and sail. Next, we have something very interesting. In this poem, you'll find a figure of speech. Now let's see what is a figure of speech. A figure of speech is a word or phrase that has a different meaning from what it seems to mean. There are a number of figures of speech in English literature, and they make a poem beautiful. In today's poem, The Kite, we have a figure of speech. And please remember that figure of speech also is known as literary device. So let's see what the figure of speech that we'll find in this poem is. Please pay attention to the two lines that I'm going to read out now. The lines are, then soars like a ship with only a sail. The words like a ship with only a sail is underlined. So this is the figure of speech. Let's see what it means. This group of words mean movement of the tailless kite, and it is compared to a ship with a sail. This figure of speech is what is known as a simile. I repeat, this figure of speech is called a simile. For example, someone who sings well, we can compare that person to a bird or anything or anyone that sings well. So let's take up the first example. She sings like a, think of a bird or someone who is known for being a good singer. So let's take the example of the bird. Can you think of a bird which is supposed to have a melodious voice? Yes, we can say she sings like a nightingale. Next one, he runs like a, think of an animal or a person who is known for being a very fast runner or someone who can run at the highest speed. So he runs like a, yes, he runs like a cheetah. So these are examples of similes, and let's go to the next activity. Now we have some new words that you'll find in the poem and their meanings. The first word is blue. Here, the word does not refer to the color blue, but it refers to the sky, or what we know as a blue sky. So, the next word is dive and dip. These words mean downward movement, like you dive into a swimming pool. The next word is snap, which is a verb, and it means break suddenly and completely. Next comes the word crest, which means the highest point. The next word is slack, and it means loose, the opposite of tight. Next, we have the word raggeder. I want you to pay attention to the pronunciation of the word. We pronounce it as raggeder, and it means torn and ugly. Next, we have soar, which means go up higher. The last word is interesting. It is wind, and it is a verb. So the verb wind means to turn, roll. Here, the string that is used to fly the kite. So these are some of the new words you'll find in the poem, and I hope you have got the meanings of the words, and that will make it easier to understand the poem. After you have enjoyed reading the poem, let's make it clear what the poem wants to tell us. Let's read the summary of the poem. A new kite looks nice and bright when it flies in a clear blue sky. It looks wonderful. Diving and dipping, it moves its tail. Then its tail breaks away with a noise. At this time, it soars high with the wind and moves like a ship with only one sail. When there is no wind, it seems to rest. The string goes slack, and the one flying the kite winds back the string. The kite flies again when the wind blows. However, when its string is caught in a tree, it can no longer fly. Soon it gets torn and looks sad and ugly. Now that you have understood the poem clearly, let's take up some more activities. The first activity is you'll find a number of action words in the poem, and we are going to identify all the action words and write them down. For example, we have two action words here, dive and dip. So your task is to read the poem again and identify or find out the action words and write them down. The second activity is we are going to complete the similes given below. Use your creativity, use your imagination, and let us form similes by filling up the blanks given. The first one is he eats like a, next, it shines like a, third, it flies like a, last one, she dances like a. So fill in the blanks by using your imagination. Yes, you are going to use a lot of your imagination now. And this is your home assignment. Please think clearly, use your imagination, and enjoy doing your home assignment. The first one is use your imagination and write down 5 similes of your own. So I should be having so many new similes when you come back with your home assignment. The second activity is even more fun. You have to make a kite, make it colorful and decorated. After making the kite, see if you can fly it. Some of you can bring your kites and we can use them to decorate the classroom. How exciting that would be. The third activity is write down 6 pairs of rhyming words that you find in the poem. So these are your home assignment and I'm sure you'll enjoy doing it. So that's all for today, class 6. Thank you. Stay home, take care and be safe. And happy learning.